Hi everyone, I'm Catherine. I am a registered dietitian with the Confederacy of Mainland Mi'kmaq, and today we are making one of my favorite dishes of all time, and that's roasted vegetables. So we're going to go over some knife skills, and we're just going to make an awesome side dish that you can add to literally any dinner or lunch. So we have lots of sweet potatoes here. You can use white potatoes. We're using sweet today. And then we have lots of fresh broccoli. You can use frozen. It's the similar nutrition. It's the same nutrition essentially in frozen vegetables as well. And then we're also using some carrots. So I'm gonna start by cutting some of the potatoes. So when it comes to choosing the proper knife, you want to choose like a bigger sort of knife. A lot of people are a bit afraid of the bigger knives, but it's important because it prevents cuts from happening if you hold it properly. So you want to make sure that you're full grip on the knife and bring your hand like this, and that's the proper way that you want to hold it. So you get lots of grip on the knife. A lot of people do this and you get a lot of chance of like slipping your finger down, so it increases the risk of injury. So you want to make sure that you hold it nice and firm. So when we are cutting the veggies, I'm basically gonna make this into quarter pieces. So I'm gonna hold onto the veggie with my rounded fingers, sort of like a bear claw, so that I don't chop the top of my finger off. You wanna avoid that. So you can round your finger, hold the vegetable in place, and then put the tip of your knife on the cutting board and then come down. So we're just gonna do that a few times. Now, another important tip is it's a bit hard to cut a vegetable that is kind of wobbling around. So try to put the flat side on the cutting board so that it's pretty steady. And I'm just gonna cut down again. And then I'm gonna put the flat side on the cutting board again. And you always wanna bring the knife down. All right, so I'm gonna cut this into quarter pieces. And that's sort of what they're like. And we're gonna put this into the bowl. So you can peel the potatoes, or you see some of these bruised spots, just take that off, because the skin in the potato is really nutritious. It has fiber and extra nutrients for you. So also I find for sweet potatoes, the skin really caramelizes in the oven, so it makes it even sweeter than without the skin. So again, you just put the flat part on the cutting board. You can use your other hand to push down on the knife if it's a thick vegetable. And then flat side again. And claw, bear claw, tip of the knife to the board. All right, so I'm just gonna put these in a bowl. I'm gonna do one more, I think. I'm just cutting the broccoli here, and again the same technique with your hands. I'm just going to remove this and put our broccoli there. Okay. Same technique with your knife. You want to hold it this way and broccoli is done. I'm gonna rinse this board. All right, we're gonna cut the carrots now. So, gonna try to cut off both ends, the stems of the carrot, and then we're gonna make these into long strips. So you can make them into round pieces if you wanna cut them into round pieces. You can do so like this, and then you have roasted carrots that are round. But I like lots of different shapes of veggies, so these are kind of like round. So I want to make these into long strips. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut the carrot in half, then you're going to place the knife on top of the carrot to cut it this way. Put the flat pieces on, cut it again, and there you have carrot strips. So you can cut it one more time to make it thinner. They do take a little bit longer to cook in comparison to broccoli and potatoes, so they are going to be quite thin. So this is one of the most important steps, I feel. It's the spices and the oil. So we're gonna put it in the bowl so that we cover all of the vegetables, coat it with our seasonings. So my favorite one to use is garlic powder. It helps make the vegetables crispy in the oven, I find. So I'm just gonna take a generous amount. If you have fresh, you can use fresh. I'm also gonna add some pepper. And this is salt-free vegetable seasoning, which gives it a nice flavor. You can use whatever you want. I like to use paprika as well. We don't have that today, so we're gonna use some lemon and a little tiny bit of rosemary, but just a little bit. So I don't really measure, I just sprinkle, but if you want to measure, you can use a tablespoon or a teaspoon and do as you choose. And now the next part is the oil. So you can use olive oil. The thing about olive oil is that it might burn a little bit. So if you're roasting your vegetables at a higher temperature, canola oil won't really burn at a higher temperature, so I'm just gonna give it a nice generous amount and mix it together. So the key here is to coat every single vegetable in spices and in oil. And I'm just gonna use my hands. This makes your vegetables really flavorful. So perfect. All right, just gonna coat this pan. Don't be afraid to get messy. You can wash your hands after. You can use parchment paper if you have some. I like using parchment paper. So I'm gonna put these vegetables on the baking sheet in a single layer. So that's my first I'm gonna do the exact same thing with the broccoli. Just gonna add a little less seasoning. Okay, the last thing is the onion, which is just gonna add some more flavor. Now, I'm gonna show you guys how to cut onion very finely. So the first step you're gonna do, I just get so excited that I go a little fast. So the first step is you're gonna cut the onion in half with this stem at the bottom on both sides. Okay, so that's gonna hold the onion together. Then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut off one end, the end without the stem, and take off this layer, because onions are layers. Okay. Now, if you wanna cut it into long strips, totally can, that's fine. I'm gonna dice it finely. So what I'm gonna do is place the flat part on the board, cut it horizontally like this, just twice. Again, careful of your fingers. Almost all the way until you hit this stem, but not quite. Then I'm gonna cut it this way without touching the stem at the end. Just slits. Now it's all held together. And we're just gonna do the bear claw. So we're gonna hold the vegetable like this so that we don't hit our fingers, like this. Tip of the knife to the board and just come down. Gonna keep doing that and you'll see that they're diced all in the same size. Okay. So got nice similar sized diced onions there. I'm just gonna put this with my vegetable mixture here. Let's do it again. Okay, so our vegetables are almost ready for baking. Give them another good mix so that all the flavors are combined. And we're gonna bake them at 350 for about 20 minutes. And then we're gonna increase the temperature to about 400 and make them nice and crispy.